So I want to move forward a little bit on this with the story, and I want to tell you another story. Okay, the story is the story of how and why we came to the earth, and it's a story that I've really told in this book here, which I know some of you have read, called Sunshine Before the Dawn. Remember I talked earlier about the Galactic Council deciding to create a new, more upgraded species of being and bring this being to the earth, and that being, that species was called the human, because hu is a sound that means God, and these new beings were created in the image of God by the Elohim. The Elohim are the creator aspect of God. But they also worked with the Syrians, who were the master geneticists. The Syrians were really good with genetics, and so they also contributed. They worked with the Lyrans, the Lyran women who visioned the new creation. And their role in the place called the Halls of Dreamtime is to sing the song lines of Dreamtime, which means to bring the visions of creation into these 12 dimensions of the lower heavens where physical form can exist, where souls can express through physical forms. And so 8 men and 8 women were created in this time, a long time ago, 100,000 years ago, and brought to the earth. Pure Elohim they were, pure God beings. And over this long period of time, their genetic DNA has infused into every person on the earth. Maybe there's a few that aren't, okay, in very out-of-the-way places. But in most places, this God-given human DNA is infused into every person on the earth. As I said before, 12 strands of DNA opens us up to 12 dimensions of reality. So let's have a look at what these 12 dimensions of reality actually are. Well, the earth has shifted now to a faster pulsating 5th dimensional reality. But we have the Pleiadians, which are 4th dimensional, but also they are ascending now. So they are moving into a faster pulsating rhythm as well, because the shift of the earth also is a shift of vibration throughout this entire galaxy. Then we have the Syrians, 5th and 6th dimensional. We have 7th dimensional beings from Arcturus, the Arcturians. Their role, they're excellent at working with emotions. And they also are like the halfway house between us on Earth and the higher heavenly worlds of Lyra and beyond. And then we have 8th dimensional. 8th dimensional is Orion. Orion is a place of duality, just like the Earth is. But Mintaka Orion, the uppermost star in the belt of Orion, 8th dimensional, is the place of the Elohim. It's the place of what we really call heaven. It's the place of the angels and the archangels. And it's the place of the creation energy, which we call God. Then we have 9th dimensional Andromeda. Andromeda is another galaxy. It's almost like a paired galaxy to Earth, which means that it's aligned with Earth very much. And the Andromedan galaxy supports life within this galaxy. Because what we need to understand is we're not just talking about life within this Milky Way galaxy, which is huge. We're talking about life within what's called, well, all the galaxies really, but particularly within what's called the local group of galaxies, which is, there are 20 galaxies within the local group. Okay? So it's a huge thing. And Earth is pivotal to these changes, which are not just occurring for the Earth, not just occurring for this galaxy, but occurring throughout the local group of galaxies. It's pretty huge. Some of you may have come here from other galaxies for this reason, so that your energy can be here to help with the shift, which is not just for the Earth, not just for this galaxy, but for all the galaxies in the local group of 20 galaxies, of which the Earth is part. Because each of these galaxies has their own creative force. So, which means each of these galaxies has their own God energy. Okay? And their own hierarchy and their own councils. And I'm here today representing the Galactic Council, really, which is the council of light for this galaxy. And Sirius, which is the star that I came from, like so many of you when we first came to the Earth. So, this language that is coming out of my mouth is a language that we all can speak because we are all one and we all came from the stars, all of us here. We all have this memory coded within our DNA, our soul DNA I'm talking about, because the soul DNA, as I said before, is like the Akashic records of our soul's experience from lifetime to lifetime. And then we have the genetic DNA, the physical genetic DNA, which creates life, the human genome, called the human genome. And this human genome, it's like a recipe for the creation of a human being. Now I've got these little pieces of paper here, which if you are interested in understanding how the DNA works, it's all written out here. But I'm going to give you a little potted version, like the short answer, because it's pretty complicated, I think. And I don't want to bore you. But if you're really interested, you can get the white paper and you can read up about it better. But this is the short answer. Take this book. Okay. The Human Genome, the recipe for human life. It's like a book. Okay. It has 23 chapters. And these 23 chapters are called chromosomes. And chromosomes come in pairs. One complete set of the book from our father, and one complete set of the book from our mother. Okay? 22 of those chromosomes are the same. There might be mild variations because of genes and genes coming through, the genetic code inherited from the mother or the father, which of course differs. The 23rd chromosome, though, is the sex chromosome. And in women, we're going to have W and Y. No, sorry, in men, we're going to have W and Y if we become a man. And if we become a woman, we're going to have 2 WW chromosomes, which creates female characteristics. Okay? So this book is divided up into these chapters called chromosomes. And each of the chapters called chromosomes has lots of stories in it. And these stories are called genes, G-E-N-E-S, genes. It's the genes in the stories that give us our dark hair or our green eyes, the body shape, the way we think to a degree, not always because DNA can be modulated and changed, but it gives us the characteristics of the personality self in this lifetime. These characteristics of the personality self in this lifetime marry together with the influence of the soul DNA, which is like the vibrational record of our soul through lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, probably hundreds of, maybe even hundreds of thousands of lives, I don't know, since we were created as an individuated spark of life. So you can understand then, can't you, that the influence of the soul DNA is far superior to the influence of the genetic DNA. Now, as human beings, we might not understand that yet, but that's what I'm told, because this is one of the reasons that we can move away from the programming of our genes and become more of the soul's truth. And this is what happens when light comes into the body. This is what happens as part of our ascension path, which is not going up, it's soul expansion. As we expand into more of the truth, the love, the oneness, and expand our consciousness, we move into more of a connection to the soul DNA aspect of ourselves. And we are not ruled by the genetic DNA that we inherit from our parents as much. You see? So we can transcend the programming of our genes and we can move beyond it. And part of what we're going to be doing today is beginning to move beyond the inherited genetic programming of our genes and understand that we are so much more than this, that we are an eternal soul. Okay? So let's look at these genes, these stories. You know, a story written in the English language has 26 letters, doesn't it? The English language, 26 letters. Yeah, 26 letters. These letters written in the genetic language, or these words in the genetic language, only have 4 letters. They are A, C, T, and G. A stands for adenine, C stands for cytosine, T stands for thymine, and G stands for guanine. And these are nucleic acid codes. Okay? So this genetic language that we call the DNA is written in words made up of only 4 letters, and each word has only 3 letters. So there's a whole string of 3-letter words configured in different versions of A, C, T, and G. Okay? We also have something called RNA, and in particular messenger RNA. And the role of messenger RNA is to translate the language and turn it into form, which is the flesh and blood physical body, and all the eyes, the ears, the heart, every aspect of the human being. And so the messenger RNA translates, in a very complicated way, which I've written on the paper, translates the energy coding in the words of the DNA into form. And each of the 3-letter words is equal to 1 amino acid in a totally different language of 20 amino acids. So all these thousands and thousands and thousands of, well, billions actually, it's 1 billion words in the human genome, which is a huge book. It's equal to 5,000 books that I've written there. So the human DNA, the human genome, 5,000 of these books, that's the number of words that our DNA contains. And these words are the script or the recipe for creating a human being. And so the amino acids, remember, 3 letters of each word create a different amino acid. There's 20 amino acids. The amino acids string together according to the script, and they code the proteins in the body. And it's the coding of proteins in the body that creates the heart, the lungs, the liver. It's all coded from the DNA and the sequencing of the letters of the DNA script. So that's really how DNA works in the body and how we are created. But what's happening now is that this DNA script of humankind is being rewritten. What's happening to the book is that within some of these chapters, not all of these chapters, remember the chapters of the chromosomes, 23, within some of the chapters, new words are being inserted. New paragraphs are being inserted. And remember that this is word created into form. So the words are delivered in the form of light language, sound, light, and vibration, which create a direct response within the DNA. Now that's a very simplistic way of explaining it. Very simplistic, okay? But that's what's happening.